If you're watching this, that means that the school year is almost over. Can you believe it? Hello everyone, and welcome to one of my most exciting videos of the year, and that is end of the school year activities for music class. If you're like, why Becca? Why is this exciting? It's exciting because that means the school year is almost over. Hallelujah. The 2019-2021 school year, yes, I said that on purpose, has been the longest thing of my life, and it has come with so many twists and turns and just things that you don't know, and stress and just all the things, and I am very glad that it is coming to a close. When this video is out, I think I will have one more week with kids and then a week of post-planning, and I And before you get super jealous that my school gets out really early, you should know that I will be back in pre-planning in July. Bear that in mind before you get too excited. But I am very glad that we get out pretty much first, because then we're ready. I'm ready. Anyway, so in this video, we're gonna talk about a couple of things that you could do for end of the year activities. Some are like, here's just really fun stuff. Some are more like, assess and reflect and that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about all of the things for a variety of grade levels, focusing mostly on upper grades. And yeah, let's get started. So when we get down to the end of the school year, there are typically three things that I try to do with my kiddos. Number one is have a lot of fun, because I want them to go out of the school year, one, enjoying it, two, being like, oh hey, music is fun, I like music, so that they come back to school being like, oh hey, music's fun, I like music. Number two is that I like to do a review on whatever we've been working on this year. Number three is assess. Yes, we'll talk about that in a second. And as a bonus, number four is I do like to reflect on the year with the kids and have them give me some information, and we'll talk more about that later. You can click the little timestamp thingies down below to see where we're gonna talk about each of those things, but with all that, let's get started. So first off, just some fun things that you can do to end the year on a bang and be like, this is fun, we love music. Number one is gonna be the cup routine. So especially this is what I use with like 4th and 5th grade. The cup routine, always a hit. Actually, how I planned my last lesson of the year is I went to my 5th graders and I said, hey, what do you want to do? And they told me they wanted to do Kahoot and they wanted to do the cup routine. I was like, heck yes, we will do Kahoot and the cup routine. So we've been doing the cup routine, and specifically not just learning the cup routine, but also using it with composition. So what we did is we learned the cup routine or review it, because 5th grade already did it, 4th grade's learning it for the first time. And then after we review it, then we play it with a whole bunch of different songs so we can try different tempos. And then I have the kids make their own cup routines on a Google Slides activity that I have up on TBT, so you can see that up here on my face. And it's really easy, they just kind of drag and drop, so it's a super easy composition activity, and it gives them a chance to like try things out. And what I love about this is that it's really easy for them to be like, make something, stop, try it, and then adjust if they don't like it, which is really good. I find a lot of times that they'll just do one thing and stick with it, but with this one they've been adjusting until they liked it, and I really like that aspect of this activity. So it's been so much fun. If you don't know how to do the cup routine, I'm going to insert a video here.
So the cup routine goes clap, clap, pat, 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 clap, up, down, clap, reach over and grab, pop it on your hand, hit it on the table, switch hands, down, down. So we're gonna go clap, clap, pat, 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 clap, up, down, clap, grab, pop, hit, switch, tap, down again, clap, clap, pat, 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 clap, up, down, clap, grab, pop, hit, switch, tap, down. We're gonna go a little faster. Clap, clap, pat, 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 clap, up, down, clap, grab, pop, hit, switch, tap, down, clap, clap, pat, 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 clap, up, down, clap, grab, pop, hit, switch, tap, down. Now, you can do this with pretty much any song that you want to listen to, but I always use it with I've Been to Harlem with my 4th and 5th graders. So if you're doing it with that song, it's going to sound like this, and you can always rewind and watch that part slowly if you need to. So it goes clap, clap, pat, 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 clap, up, down, clap, grab, pop, hit, switch, tap, down. I've been to Harlem, I've been to Dover, I've traveled this whole world wide over, 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 3 times over. Drink all the lemonade and turn the glasses over. Sailing east, sailing west, sailing over the ocean. Better watch out when the boat begins to rock, or you'll lose your cup in the ocean.
Number 2 is gonna be lots of fun activities. So one would be Pizza Pizza Daddy-O. If you don't know the song, it is amazing. And I have a whole video about it, so I'm not gonna sing like the whole thing here, but it does involve dancing and jumping and singing and solo singing and being silly, and it is great. And my 4th and 5th graders absolutely love it, so I would highly recommend it. Click the link down below to check out like the whole tutorial for how to do it, because it's kind of a lot for this. Extra Beat Take a Seat is another one we're doing this week. It is so much fun and super easy. Basically how you play is you play a certain rhythm and you play it a certain amount of times, and that's the gist of it. But how you actually play it is so our rhythm, we always start with down, down, up, and we'll play it 3 times. So, and that's it. And if you make an extra beat, then you take a seat and you're out until the rest of the standing class. It makes it perfect. And then we go to round 2 where it's 5, and then we go to 7. We go by odds until we go to a new rhythm, and that is a huge hit. I've used it with 2nd through 5th grade. I do like it best with upper grades. You can also do it with rhythm sticks or the drums, and that makes it extra fun. But I'm in their classroom, so we were like, let's just do it as easy as possible. So we just been playing with our hands, and it's been great. For the younger kids, a good, always a hit activity that you can do would be Mama Llama. So this song goes, so for this song at the beginning, we usually tap down and then out into a circle. So you tap the people next to you. Right now we are not touching, so we're going down and up. So it goes, Mama Llama, Kuma Llama, Kuma La Pizza. Mama Llama, Kuma Llama, Kuma La Pizza. Oh, no, 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 la pizza. Oh, no, 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 la pizza. On the second part, whoever was picked goes to the middle, and they get to make up whatever actions they want to for this part. And it goes, Annie, Manny, Dix a penny, Oompa, Alumpa, Manny, Okeechobee, Ava, Watchy, X, Y, Z. And then you start over and someone new gets to pick the actions. So much fun, always hit, love it. And another thing that is always a hit is scarves and the parachute. The parachute is so much fun. It's also super wild. So I like to bring it out usually like in December and then like in May, when the kids really need that extra incentive to pay attention so that they can do really fun things, but it's also really active and it wears them out. You can do a parachute with tons of stuff. My favorite thing is to do this with forms. So you pick any song that has a like really obvious form and just pick an action for A, an action for B, an action for C, and go for it. I like to use Star Wars at the end of the year, which is a lot of fun. We're missing out on that this year because we're not in my costume, so we can't use the parachute and also the whole touching in 6 feet, but you know, next year we'll be back to doing Star Wars form with the parachute. If you don't have a parachute or scarves, I will link some down below, and also I will link the book Ribbons and Parachutes and Scarves, Oh My, by R.D. Almeida. It is my absolute favorite. I recommend literally anything in that book. Go for it, your kids will love it. All right, next up is review. So with review activities, there's tons of different things you can do. Some of our favorites include Trasketball. For Trasketball, you just have a trash can and some rolled up pieces of paper. This is a great time to clean out those cabinets of random things that you have been copying and not using all year. And so the kids get into teams. Each team will answer a question. So you answer a question. If you answer it correctly, then you get a chance to make a basket. And if you make a basket, then you get a point for your team. If you don't, then you don't get a point. And then it goes on. Or you could do like you get a point for the question and then an extra point if you make a basket. That's probably more fair in hindsight, but it works. So that's really fun. Kahoots are a great way to do some review. Those are a little more specific and sometimes hard to find the right one, but especially like instruments of the orchestra. We always do instruments of the orchestra at the end of the year. And so that's a great thing that you can do as well. And Kahoots are always a hit. Always a hit. If you've never used Kahoot, it's a free website with like quizzes. Or quiz is also a fun one. I'll link those down below. They are free, or at least there's like a free version, and I've only ever used the free version, and they work just great and they're a lot of fun. As far as other review games, when we were in person, I love to do Kaboom. That is like my all-time favorite centers game that we use all the time. So basically the kids get into a group and they pull cards, like little cards. I have some in my TBT shop that are like a good size, but you can make them yourself, of course. And so they pull out rhythm cards or solfege cards or whatever, and they have to say or sing the pattern or identify whatever it is, depending on what it is. And then if they get it right, they get to keep it. If they get it wrong, then they put it back. Then it's the next person's turn, it goes around in a circle. And if you get a kaboom card, then you have to put all your cards back, which means it lasts forever because you put all your cards back and now there's, you know, an extra 10 cards that you can use as you're going around the circle. So that's my favorite like in-person game to do for review, especially at the end of the year. I have a bunch of the sets that I have in my TBT shop just printed out that I can just pull out at any given time, and it's great and it entertains the kids for at least 15 minutes, I would say, which is usually a good chunk of your time, maybe even longer depending on which one you get and what class you get. Online, we've been doing a lot of review games online, obviously, and so one of my favorites that we've been doing with 2nd grade is we've been reviewing solfege with my tropical solfege Google Slides games. So basically it's just a Google Slides game. You click present and then it shows you a solfege pattern. There's 2 different options and you click on which one is correct, and it immediately tells you either yes, you're correct, or no, you're not correct. And so it gives that like instant feedback. I also like to do this in teams, and so sometimes we'll split into teams and like we'll have either one person answer and we'll go down the row, or we'll have like one team and then the other team answer, or whatever, and then the kids can earn points doing it that way, and the kids can earn points for their teams that way, and it just makes it like instantly more fun and engaging. This is meant to be like a review or something really simple, so it's not supposed to be like super difficult, obviously, since you're just like clicking through, but it is a lot of fun. I've also done the same type of thing with my weather rhythm sort with my 1st graders, and for them we only had a couple in class that day, and so I just had, they were all on their own team, and so they just had to write on their board whether it was going to be Ta or Titi, and they just held it up and I gave them points for whoever got it correct, and they, oh my gosh, we're so excited. The fun thing about kids is that sometimes you can tell them that things are games even if they're not games, and they still think they're fun. Just a heads up. So those are a couple of things you can do to review that are also a lot of fun. My kids also love color by note, so I have a couple of those. I plan to make more. I wanted to make more this school year, but then we were not in school all year, so I didn't. But maybe next year we'll do more color by notes. So I love to do, sometimes I do some that have just different like solfege patterns on them, and they have to color in the fish next to this correct solfege pattern. I have that in my like fish activities, and just different things like that, or a whole picture and they color the treble clef note. And so I'll link a couple of those down below if you want to try them out, but that's a really easy and calm way to review, especially if the kids are like testing and you need to keep them quiet, or if you go to their rooms suddenly and you didn't know until like 2 minutes before. Or for subs, that kind of stuff, really great. All right, so I said we like to do fun stuff, we like to do review, and we like to assess. Full disclosure, this year I am not assessing them because unlike the federal government, I did not see the need to test my children to see how behind they are, especially when right now I'm still not seeing everyone because we're like hybrid and we're distance learning, we're just doing all these things. So my strategy is we'll just deal with it in the fall with the pre-test to see where we are. But typically I will do an assessment at the end of the year with the upper grades, especially like really 2nd and up. I will have an actual like sheet of paper, and we'll have 1 or 2 questions about the main rhythms we learned, 1 or 2 questions about the main solfeges we learned. If they're doing treble clef, that'll be on there, like just those different things to make sure that the kids did learn something, and so that I can say like, okay, I can see, you know, what we're missing, what we still need to work on next year, and all of that kind of stuff. So that is something that I do. If you don't want to do that, you know, in like a formal setting, you could also use some of the games in order to assess them without them realizing they're being assessed. So I'll actually leave a link down below to a blog post I have that I think is called Assessment Without Assessment. And so it's ways to assess kids without it being like, we're going to take a test, which isn't how I put it. I usually tell them it's a survey and I just want to know what they have learned this year and that kind of stuff. But I still find it really helpful to do this and make sure that like I know what's going on and how much they've learned and all that kind of stuff. And I can also see, weird thing, if you do it at the end of the year, you can see the different classes, because different classes will have learned different amounts of things just from, you know, if you have a class every Friday and you hardly ever see them because you never have class on Friday, or just different things like that will come up. And so you can kind of see where you have maybe messed things up or not done a great job with realizing you're never going to see them, or if you have other things, or if there's behavior issues, and you can kind of like assess yourself in that case if you see like some classes are doing a lot better than others. little tidbit there for you. You could also do this if you're online on Google Forms. So we have been doing this with, like, if we're at the end of a unit online. I'm not doing a big formal assessment, but we are doing, like, my first graders have been working on Ta and TT, so they're doing a little Google form where they just have to click what's correct and not correct. And then same with second grades doing a Nearpod, which is telling me what they know. And so I am using those as kind of like informal assessments so that I can see, I do know what they've learned, but it's not like the big kahuna that I normally do. Google Forms are also great because if you do not have one-to-one devices, you can just make a QR code, or you can just have a link, and you can have the kids, after you wipe them down, you can have the kids share the iPad and just, you know, click like submit another response, and then they can submit their response. And so you can pass them down that way, and Google Forms are really great for that. And they also are self-grading, which we love. All right, along with assessment, I also like to have the kids reflect on the school year. This year, honestly, I was like, I don't even want to think about the school year. So I've just been having them tell me before they leave what their favorite thing they did this year was. But typically on our final assessment, I will also put a spot where the kids can write their favorite thing from this year, their least favorite thing from this year, whether they think music is too easy, too hard, or just right. And then I put, is there anything you want Miss Davis to know? And that question, I will say, gets such good, helpful answers that I never would have known the answer to if I hadn't put that on there, because kids put such interesting comments. Not bad interesting, but like actually good interesting usually. And it's really been helpful for me to see that. So those are the 4 little review questions that I like to do. I have a whole like music class reflection. I have a set of worksheets, and then I also have a set of Google Slides that you can use, and they ask a variety of questions like, what was your favorite thing we did this year? Or, you know, what did you like? What did you not like? And just all that kind of stuff. All right, guys, so there's a couple of things that you can do for the end of the school year. Hopefully it's enough to get you through. I know a lot of you are going till June and some even till July, and if that's you, I am so sorry. But thank you so much for watching. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments, so let me know what you're doing at the end of the school year, and I will see you next time. Bye.